In today's video, we're comparing the Victory Amplification Kraken MKII to the ENGL Fireball 25. I recently compared the Kraken MKII to my PRS MT15, and this is basically a follow-up to that video. I'm going to use the same guitars and the same DI tracks and all that stuff, so you can go back and compare the amplifiers. So, the Victory Kraken MKII was recently released by Victory Amplification. Of course, it's a 50-watt amplifier with basically 3 channels, a shared EQ, the new presence control. It does clean sounds really well, it does crunch sounds really well, and of course the high gain tones are excellent as well. So it's a small amplifier, but a very comprehensive package that I like a lot. Now, as of right now in Europe, this amplifier will cost you around 1,600 euros or so, give or take. It's made in the UK, it comes with a gig bag and 2 foot switches, so it's a really cool amplifier and it's quite portable as well. And one of the main things that I love so much about this amplifier is just how unique it sounds, especially on the high gain channel. It just sounds very raw and throaty and tight and sort of nasty, and it has a very nice texture to it. And it's great for low tuned guitars as well. The Fireball 25 by ENGL Amplification has been out for a while as well. Of course, it's the 25 watt version of the Fireball. It has 2 6L6 tubes in the power section, just as the Kraken. It has 2 channels, a shared EQ, a mid boost, a presence control, a master control, stuff like that, and a noise gate as well on the back, which the Kraken does not have. So that's a cool feature that this one has. As you can see, the enclosure is quite a bit bigger on the ENGL. It has more of a traditional head style enclosure, whereas the Kraken has more of a lunchbox style enclosure. And they definitely both have their own unique sound, as you will hear. Now, I'm not entirely sure, but I think that the ENGL Fireball 25 costs around 700 or 800 euros as of right now, so it's quite a bit more affordable than the Kraken, and it's made in Germany. So just as with the previous video, we're going to compare the amplifiers with a clean tone and a heavy tone. And for all the tones, I'm going to run the amplifiers through my RedSeven Amplification Amp Central reactive load and the same OwnHammer IRs as the last time, which will be the Rockbox M25L 2003A with a modern 3 mic mix, which is a nice green back. And then for the heavy stuff, the low-tuned essentials with the high-gain mic mix, which is great for the heavy stuff. Okay, and let's go ahead and start with the clean tones. And for that purpose, I'm using my Schecter E1 SLS Elite with the Fishman Fluence modern pickups in it on the neck pickup. And for this first example, I'll put some room reverb on the guitars just to give them a little bit more ambience. And yeah, let's take a listen. Check it out. Very nice. I liked both the clean tones a lot. They are quite different. The Kraken sounds very mid-forward and very bright and very articulate. I really love that. It sounds very chimey indeed. Whereas the ENGL sounds a little bit more Fendery, so a bit more scooped with a bit bigger bottom end, very sparkly highs, but it's more scooped in the mid-range and the upper mid-range. So this amplifier is going to work really well with single coils, whereas the Kraken would work really well with darker humbucker pickups, for example. I must say that the Kraken is really hard to beat for the clean tones because I really love the clarity and the mid-range presence that it has to offer. In order to get the Fireball to sound a little bit closer, I did enable the mid boost and I cranked up the treble and mid controls a little bit to get it to sound a little bit closer to the Kraken. Now let's also check out an isolated comparison, but I'll turn the reverb off this time. Check it out. All right, very nice. So basically in terms of the cleans, you can't go wrong with either of them. It's just a matter of taste and it's about the guitar and the pickup that you're using. Now let's move on to the heavy stuff. So for that purpose, I'm going to use the gain 2 channel on the Kraken, which is the high gain channel on that one. And then on the ENGL, just the lead channel basically with the mid boost off this time. And I forgot to mention that for the clean bit, I had the presence shift on for the Kraken. And for the heavy bit, I'll turn that off for a bit more of a throaty and mid-focused sound. And for this comparison, I'm using my Schecter E1 Apocalypse Red Rain on the bridge pickup, which is the Schecter USA Apocalypse pickup. Let's just go ahead and take a listen right now. Check it out. Very cool. So as I said, there are definitely some differences there. And before I pass my judgment, let's take a listen to an isolated comparison as well. Check it out. Okay, interesting. I love both of the amplifiers. Now, obviously, the Kraken is a bit more mid-focused. It sounds more growly, and it has a very nice raw texture to it. Very articulate, and as I said in the previous video, it's very unforgiving and dry sounding. So every little thing that you're going to play, every little nuance is going to come through. Now, the ENGL Fireball sounds like a beast as well, but it's a bit more scooped sounding and a bit more sizzly sounding. Yeah, it also sounds great. It just has its own character. It fills the mix in a different way. You know, the Kraken really comes forward and bites you in your face. And the Fireball is a bit bigger and wider and leaves a little bit more room for the other instruments. So in this case, it's really also a matter of taste. It's going to be really hard for me to pick a favorite. So yeah, I don't really know. I mean, in an ideal situation, you would just use both the amplifiers in the mix. Put one on the right side and the other on the left side, for example. So in this case, I really like how both sound, even though they sound quite different. So I'd really love to know your thoughts on this comparison. Which one did you prefer and why? Let me know in the comments down below. That's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, please drop a like and subscribe down below, as that really helps the channel out. I'd really appreciate it. Of course, you can also follow Sonic Drive Studio on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Cheers.